So this is the iPhone that long time Apple users have been waiting for, the iPhone 10. I've spent a week with the phone and here are my initial thoughts on the device. So let's talk about what's good on this device. It looks good. The iPhone 10 is like a redefined version of the design Apple has been using since the release of the iPhone 6 in 2014. It's not dramatically new, but here the screen, the iPhone's biggest asset, is allowed to shine with the metal and glass structure around it fading into the background. Let's talk about the cameras of this device. So iPhone 10's rear camera has a 12 megapixel dual lens camera with a f1.8 wide aperture and f2.4 telephoto aperture. The picture from the iPhone 10 are excellent with vibrant colors and great sharpness. The iPhone 10 seems better at handling a wide array of lighting situations compared to other iPhones I have used in the past. The iPhone 10 comes with the new portrait lighting mode, a special camera mode that applies different lighting effects on portraits. The results you will get with the portrait lighting are mixed. I found the natural lighting setting worked the best, producing even results with a nice bokeh. Studio light seemed to create hot spots depending on the angle of your object. Two of the portrait lighting modes, the stage light and stage light mono, are just well. I'll say that I'm not going to use them. Apple decided to label portrait lighting mode as beta as an excuse for the mixed results. So let's hope we see improvements in the near future. The rear camera is capable of shooting 4K videos at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Shooting 4K videos at 60 frames per second were amazing. If you have only 64 gigabytes of storage, it's probably a setting you will not use. It looks so buttery smooth and the details is amazing. If you don't want to shoot any kind of 4K video, you will be happy with the 1080p and 720p video. The new Animoji, since they are exclusive to the iPhone 10 for now. Animoji uses the true depth camera to sync your head and facial movements to an animated emoji. So let's talk about the beautiful display. Well, that's the major change in the iPhone 10. While the entire front of the display isn't quite all screen as Apple's marketing might suggest, there is noticeably a bump at the top of the phone that houses all the front-facing camera technology. It's still a large vivid display. It's 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display that can represent 16 million colors. It's actually about 0.3 inches larger than the screen in the iPhone 8 Plus, even though the 10 is about 0.6 inches shorter. The new and the favorite feature of mine is tap to wake the screen, which is great. If you want to quickly check the time or see if you have missed any notification, you can tap the 10 screen to wake it up. Let's talk about the performance. iPhone 10 sports Apple's new A11 Bionic processor, which has a 6-bit 6-core beast. It has a pair of performance cores. Apple says the A11 Bionic's 4 efficiency cores are 70% faster, and in day-to-day usage the performance is really good. It's definitely better than the 7 Plus which I've been using previously, and the battery life is great as well. I'll talk about that later. The iPhone 10 features that's gotten the most attention is Face ID, Apple's technology for unlocking the iPhone 10 and authenticating your ID. It replaces Touch ID, Apple's fingerprint technology that served the same purpose. I had some concerns about Face ID because Touch ID has become seamlessly integrated into how I use my iPhone, but as it turned out, there was nothing to be concerned about. In fact, Face ID actually delivers more seamless integration than Touch ID. When it works, Face ID works really well. There are few people who talk bad about the iPhone 10 even before using it. For an example, this famous YouTuber.
The home button. The DJI app crashed, and there's no way for me to crash this app to get back to the home screen because there's no home screen button. So nothing I do can get it. I can lock the phone and then
I got a battery life of 6 to 7 hours even after using it heavily, so that's a great thing. Let's talk about the final verdict. Is the iPhone 10 the best phone this year? Yes, but only by a whisker. The Galaxy Note 8 is so close, while Apple's own iPhone 8 Plus gives you so much of the iPhone 10 benefit without such super expensive. I can definitely recommend anyone to get this phone. In my opinion, this is definitely the best iPhone which ever launched and my favorite iPhone.